All right, quick, everybody tweet. We're live. We're the greatest. Welcome, one and all, to WeTaku Anime Review. Bi-weekly, every so often podcast in which we get together.
If we can help it bi-weekly.
In which, oh god, nope, I goofed real hard and forgot to mute the stream, so that was the worst for me.
I already did.
In which we come together and talk about anime, or sometimes horrendously just fail horribly and pray to God that Allan will edit it out, but you know deep in your heart, he never will.
Editing's too much work.
I'm one of your hosts, Joe Vaughn, and with me are my three regular co-hosts, plus a special host. I specialize in shonen, so this is not up my wheelhouse. However, we'll get into it later. So, introduce yourselves, co-hosts, and then special guest.
I'm Thomas, and this is right up my alley. We are watching Serial Experiments Lain, so I'm happy. Next.
I'm Steven. This is not really my thing either, but it was... Yeah, it was a thing that happened. I'm confused. I'm confused. So
you don't seem to understand.
Accurate. That's very accurate. So with that in mind,
I'm Allan. I am on the internet for the majority of my life, and therefore love this.
get a webcam, nerd.
No.
Or like a profile picture or something. Are you using a one?
Gets one up every podcast just for.
I love it. Don't get a webcam. That picture's amazing.
Wait, some of these have been actually horrifying though. You just look back at the screen ever so often. You just, oh god, why?
I've seen your internet history.
That's what that is. And with us is a lovely guest. Dakota, introduce yourself. Tell the fans at home what you do in case they don't know.
Hey, my name is Dakota Broskie, and I do anime videos. Anything and everything related to anime, whether it be reviews, parodies, and or covers, or just some random dumb skit. Other than that, I hope you like cringe, because I got plenty of it for you. But I watched Serial Experiments Lain, and it wasn't not my thing, but it also wasn't my thing. It just kind of exists, and I kind of browsed upon it, and I liked it. It was pretty fun.
It exists out of 10.
Oh, my story. My story. I was going to tell you guys earlier before we started recording this. I actually was like, okay, well maybe if I start writing down notes for Lain, maybe I'll have a better understanding of how to talk about it during a podcast, because I'm kind of lost right now because I rewatched it. So more questions arise. So here I'll start writing it out. I dropped all my chips. I will write more of it out, and then it became a script, and then I already wrote my review today for Serial Experiments Lain. So I have that waiting to upload anytime now.
All right.
Actually, kind of incredible. Oh man, I cannot wait to actually just right after this podcast go straight to YouTube and just
Yeah.
go to Broskie. What you got for us? Alrighty. So currently we are in the spoiler-free section. This means I would like to discuss things like animation, sound, premise without... Okay, with Lain that's a hard one. But hey, we can at least talk about those first two things that have nothing to do with plot. Character design?
Okay. Who's going first?
It's free reign.
Take it away, Dakota.
I'll take it away. I'll take that mic. So, character design, pretty awesome. Lain, great design. The world has amazing design for it, especially being a cyberpunk series. Animation, not that good. It has maybe 3 episodes that are really good, but other than that, it really lacks in animation. In the age shows.
I was wondering how much of that was intentional. Like, it almost seems like Lain will be looking in like 2 different directions, like not because like it looks like she's looking in 2 directions, but because her pupil is off center from her like iris, and I wasn't sure if that's just to like make you feel on edge, or they really didn't have like the revision process around it, and we're just like chugging away like frame after frame.
So in my case, even before going into this, I was still vaguely aware of what Lain was, right? And to me, the garbage tier animation was kind of something I had come to expect, like, was associated with the name for some reason. So, going into that in mind, like, while I like the colors and the show's look, the animation was kind of trash, and I think it's a little bit of both, where, like, on one hand, there are some things that do make you more uncomfortable, some things that make you feel like you're just kind of on a really bad trip, or confused, and just visually. But other times, I think they did just not have a lot of time and/or budgets.
Yeah, and like as far as that's concerned, like it looks like it has style. Like that's
Yes.
undoubtable.
Yeah.
So like, especially her in the streets, those are my favorite scenes.
My favorite is
Historically.
my favorite's like the 5-minute train rides that are just power lines.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Honestly, my first thought was, "Oh God, my eyes are bleeding."
Oh.
Not gonna lie, but it did grow on me a bit. I personally don't think the character design was exceptional, but I could tell characters apart, so there was some good enough design
Better
there.
than average.
Better than average, yes, most definitely.
The ones that matter, anyways.
But
Yeah, fair enough.
this is from like '98, I think. It's old, so I mean, I can't expect that much. But I thought the weird, like, almost real photograph, like, stuff going on was really weird. That animation was off-putting to me.
Real fast, Serial Experiments Lain was broadcast from July to September 1998. Series designed by Ryotaro Nakamura. Produced by Yasuaki Ueda for Triangle Staff. That's all the
Okay.
actual details out of the way. Just thought I'd throw this out there. Should be noted, same guy who did Higurashi and Digimon Tamers.
One of which we've
And I
already
say
done.
that.
So as far as animation goes, like I'm kind of the same mind as Jovan. Like it was kind of in the back of my mind, but like for the most part, I sort of just accepted it from the beginning.
Yeah.
Although the crow in the opening is animated really well for some reason. It looks amazing.
No, you're not wrong. Speaking of the opening, how did people feel?
Amazing.
I loved it.
It's such a
Loved
good
it.
song.
Really.
Yeah, it is really good. It's also 2 minutes long, which I find really odd, but
Mm-hmm.
It's
But-
trick ya. You skip to the 1 minute 40-second mark, you're like, aha! Oh.
yep.
There's more.
I love it. I've been singing it all week.
It gets stuck in your head really easily. Maybe just
I love
because
how
it's
it's
English,
in English.
but
Yeah. Because normally it's like it's a Japanese song, so it's really catchy. Oh, oh shit. But no,
Chorus time.
really catchy song. The opening, the theme, the cinematic, like The Crow, was great. It showed kind of how trippy Lane was, and you know, if you cut like a lot of the scenes from the opening into the show, wouldn't even notice the difference. Wouldn't even know it was out of place.
yeah.
No, the opening is there to let you know what you're about to get into
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and remind you.
There was something I was going to say about character design or animation. Oh, the psychological part of the show. Like you said, that it was in the back of your mind, but you didn't really care about it. Well, the thing is, too, people can use this as a crutch or as an excuse. People could say, hey, that was, psychological anime. It's more thought process one. There's not a lot of things going on. You know, it's fine. You know, it's not meant to be aesthetically pleasing, you know. But in the end, for me, personally, I'd rather have a lot of the like. You don't have to do everything perfectly, but it'd be nice to have a lot of points above a 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely jarring, to say the least. It's weird, because I'm going to make a comparison, as the same comparison I do every time we do a psychological anime on this show, and forget the name of the show every single time that I'm comparing to. Does anybody remember what the name of the show? Shonen Knight was in it.
Paranoid
There's
Agent.
a dog.
Shonen Bat,
Paranoid Agent.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Paranoid Agent looked great, like animated well, but was meaningless, and I hated it. This kind of feels like the opposite, where like I think this show had at least a story that was worth telling and was interesting and like psychological, creepy, pretty cool. But man, oh man, does it it's not great to look at. That said, if you go in expecting it, I don't think it's quite as bad. Since I knew it was going to look terrible, I just kind of it just kind of came in stride with me.
It does have its moments, though. It really does have its moments of shining. But 10 minutes of shining glory towards 13 episodes is just not. It doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there somebody on the crew that died from some kind of pancreatic cancer? Was it somebody on the crew or a partner in crew? I've heard that. I didn't research it like an idiot, so just so you know.
Who's making the show?
So.
He was either making the show, a producer or something like that, or he was with we're going to partner with somebody and do it. I don't remember.
I'm just going to check trivia on Wikipedia, and if it doesn't show up, then I'll just take your word for it anyways.
Pancreatic cancer, Lane.png. I don't know.
Perfect. Figured it out.
No, but what was the... is that all for animation that we think of in the opening?
I don't think I have much more to say about it. The problem with a series like this is you can't really talk about anything going spoiler-free. Right now is when I would give a kind of basic thing about the characters, but I can't. I just can't do it.
Soundtrack. Most definitely.
I was going to talk a little bit about voice acting, at least for, the Japanese.
Go for it.
It was kind of jarring along with the animation. Some of the mouthing just didn't fit, and some of the lines were delivered kind of awkwardly. I specifically remember one kid pausing in between his lines, which should have been one sentence.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Mighty Number 9 all over again. Anybody play Mighty Number 9? Oh man, that voice acting. They had there was no voice acting director for that show. It was it just a line. Read this line. Ah, Beck, you're here. Ah, Beck. Hey.
That's basically exactly it, though, and I'm glad we're at the point where this kind of stuff is. For those of you who don't know about this show or its hosts or even its guests, we tend to watch a lot of anime. Shocker. And it always gets to me, though. I love that we're at the point where we can recognize at least really, really bad Japanese voice acting. Or even some of the more subtly bad ones, but that's harder. But I was gonna say it if Allan didn't. The voice acting in the show was not just jarring. Generally, I tend to want to compliment voice acting because I think it's a job that goes without thanks a lot of the time. I don't think the directing for this was very good because I don't think there were any moments. And correct me if I'm wrong. I might just be forgetting something. I don't think there were any moments where I was like, "Wow, that was incredibly delivered."
There were no standout moments, though unfortunately I think the standout moments were the ones that sounded alright, and I think was the father. I think he sounded like he should. And
I watched it dubbed. So the only parts I can really remember are Lane.
Oh no, there's a lot of that.
Lane.
Because it's Lane. Lane is Lane, over and over.
Lane is Lane.
But I mean, it was also I agree with all of the points that have been brought up, but it was also just generally, I would say, very quiet in terms of speaking.
Yes.
In terms of dialogue.
100%.
So I wasn't 100% jarred by the voice acting because Lane's voice in particular, while it felt like it didn't have much direction, it also felt like that was her character. So I wasn't too disturbed by it.
All right, so
everyone else
soft-spoken.
Yeah.
You're right, and I still disagree to an extent.
I felt like Internet Lane should have been a lot harsher.
That's true. That's very true.
Internet Lane should have been harsher, but even the regular Lane, who was a lot softer and a lot more not emoting at all, and that does match her character. I've seen that trope acted better though.
Yeah, it certainly could have been better.
It's poorly acted at being a poor actor. God,
no, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it still wasn't delivered well.
Yeah.
Well, what about the actual music then? because
Good.
my feelings on
I liked
that
it.
were it was very diverse. You know, like they had
Mhm.
one episode that was just like a jazz montage.
Oh, I
Yeah.
I
And
really
like
like
some
that.
rock
Yeah.
music in the next episode. So I had a lot of variation.
You put that soundtrack, the OST, into any other anime, and I'd be like, "What are you doing? This is Garbo." You know,
Yeah.
you two all over the place. But for Lane, it kind of just fits so perfectly because each episode has a different. Each layer has a different feel to it. Like honestly, when this plot starts kind of unwinding, the songs normally try and stay with the story, I guess, or what's going on in the moment. So I give it that.
So Sam texted me like when I was halfway through the show, and she was like, "How's the show? Has anything important happened?" And I was like, "Not really. However, the atmosphere is incredible. Like, if you want a show with atmosphere, this has it. Like, it's all about like all this what's real, what isn't, and then it's got all the ambient noise, which is amazing. Whenever they have a view of the power lines, it's just
The
this
power
low
line.
hum.
It's just a humming.
Fantastic.
Oh my god, yes. And it was because I love the humming in it, and then I love how the humming transformed into a voice.
Mhm.
Like I think that was a really big important part of the show was just the fact that she went from this humming to this now voice.
Yeah, and then in like the second episode, this is moderate spoilers, I guess, but
Second episode will be
she
fine.
starts seeing ghosts, and like there's this echo going ear to ear, and that I guess that's like typical for horror shows in general, movies, but like with my headphones on, it sounded great, like because like when one ear would hear it, the other one wouldn't, because it had like this feeling of moving in and out. I don't know.
So, quick story relating to that. You're absolutely right, Tom. However, there are two facts that I did not come in remembering. One, I am a coward. And two, cowards should not watch atmospheric things at the early hours of the morning. I switched to speakers real fast.
Oh, yeah. I would never condone the use of marijuana. But I would say, if you do it anyways, go for it and watch this show. It's great.
Just a recommendation for everybody out there. All right, before...
Oh, I was just gonna say, I could totally see that.
I think there's some other shows I think are for more entertaining ones of it, but I think this one, it definitely gives you something.
This would mess you up.
Yeah, but I'm already messed up and I'm normal right now.
It would be like taking something a lot stronger afterwards.
Alright,
Oh,
God.
man.
Lane is what gives me problems. I think... Do we want to move into spoiler section? Or is there anything anybody else wants to bring up before we talk about the actual Lane?
Well, just
watch
whether
it.
we recommend it or not. Why
Alright.
not?
Would you recommend or would you... I don't like recommend or
like,
not
dislike.
recommend. Like, dislike at the beginning. Alright, so for me first. Like, but it's very atmospheric. I think it's thought-provoking to an extent. I think most of what I got out of it was psychological, though. Like, psychological horror more than anything else. And to that extent, and also because I'm a fan of the writer, and therefore I am hella biased, I enjoyed Lane. I'm giving it a like. Just thumbs up.
Okay.
But like a really creepy one.
I also liked it, but just be aware, a lot of the people who get really into it, Steven was saying that the author had their head up their ass, but like beware, because there are people out there who will rave about Lane and be like, "Oh, I totally understand it." They have their heads up their ass. There's no one answer to Lane. Like,
I mean,
There is no
want
right
to go
answer.
off on Waru Penguin Drum fans.
Yeah.
I just want to take them down, all of them, all of you.
I do like it.
Beat you.
That being said, I did say what Tom said, but I did like Lane. For reasons I will get into, I thought it was trying way too hard to be deep, but I'm gonna give it a thumbs up anyway. I did like it.
I'll say I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. But it's one of those shows where you have to be curious to actually watch. If you're not into it, you're not gonna get into it.
That's fair.
That's what I have to say.
I liked it. I think it's a pretty. If you want to watch a show that was definitely an influenced or was an influence on the cyberpunk era, then definitely check it out. Just know that when you go into the show, you may not get out what you think a story or anything. You may come out of this having no idea what the fuck you just watched. But you did enjoy that experience. That was a thing. You enjoyed Lane's adventure, whatever. So don't try to understand it. Just watch it, and if you want to theorize about it later, go back and review it. So that's
like we're about to do.
Get some people, get a camera, talk about it on the internet. Oh man, alright, I guess with all that in mind, we are about to head into the spoiler section, so if you do not want to be spoiled on Lane, and are interested in watching it after just hearing our first thoughts and reactions, pause the video, leave Twitch, go, be free, escape. We will be back, we will be here. You can come back to us whenever you want. YouTube.com/WeTaku. Alright, that's enough of that.
You know
we
what?
are in spoiler section.
You know what? I don't think that you'd lose anything by being spoiled ahead of time. So
to be absolutely
honestly,
fair,
you probably won't be. We could probably tell you the most obscene thing that happened in this show, and you probably go, "Huh, it spoiled me." And then you watch it and you go, "Okay,
What?
that made what difference?"
Yep.
you could go right now, find an entire plot summary of the show, plus every fan theory that's ever come out, all of it. Go watch the show.
Okay, are we in spoiler territory right
We
now?
are in spoiler.
Yes.
Go full spoiler.
Okay,
Full spoiler.
so I can tell you that, hey, Lane's parents, or Lane's sister, dead. And then you go, well, was she even real? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't think she was.
I don't
I
know.
think she's
No,
part of
not a
Lane.
chance. Not a chance. Not really.
I'm almost certain she's part of Lane.
theories out there. There's a few theories out there. There's one theory that has, I like it a lot, but it says that Lane was always in the wire and whatnot and everything, and she erased her memories or whatever to be a normal girl for the first time. But then things started getting spiraled out of control, and she ended up regaining all of her memories, and the world around her is just fake, or at least the parts of it that she put into it were fake. So, because when we see it, the show starts from perspective of Lane, where she's unknowing, and that's kind of where we're supposed to be. That's her start of just being a normal girl. And then shit hits the fan.
That would
That would
also
make-
explain her ability to affect not the wire, not the internet.
It also makes
the whole
sense.
thing about the story. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, just with when they zoom out from the world, it's literally just the city, and there's blackness all around it too.
The whole number one question I was giving myself for this whole show was, what's real? What is the wire, and what is the real world, and where do they connect other than just the Navi? And that also led to me going, well, is the real world and the wire the same? One and the same.
So, for those of you who are watching the show and have no idea what we're talking about, first off,
my bad.
I don't think we do either. But second off, a quick rundown about Lane. I don't think I'm best equipped to give this one, but I'm going to try. Tom, you want it?
Yeah. So
Go for it.
Lane's this little girl, probably she's in 8th grade, and she has a small little netbook, and her father's like, nah, you need a better equipment anyway. It gets to that point eventually, but it's mainly about this girl who commits suicide because she believes that she can eventually transcend humanity and become part of this new thing called the internet they call the wire.
1998, everybody.
Yes. And so eventually, Lane's dad is this big geek, and he's all into the internet and stuff. And so he buys Lane this new computer, and she goes ham once she finds this little processor chip, and she makes this really nice computer into a server room, complete with everything you've ever seen in any
like
over the
the
top
floor
cyberpunk.
is
Like a
lit.
NASA room.
Yeah, it looks like it's something out of Alien, like where
Yeah, the floor is like he said. The floor is now a cooling unit.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it
filled with water.
breaks out of the house, like there's all these wires and shit everywhere. Anyway, it wasn't until Dakota mentioned it that I realized that whenever it shows the wire, then she's like zipping through the wire, and then it has her in the train. I never made that connection, but it makes so much sense now.
Mhm.
Anyway, so eventually she finds a god of the internet and then has a little battle and becomes god of the internet herself and possibly god of the world.
And technically
Because-
speaking, she
Did
might have
did
been
she
God
become
all
God?
along.
Or was she already God?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's gray. So like even like world to the internet, I feel like it's intentionally gray. Like it's to the
Mhm.
point already. Like in the world, not everyone can realize it yet, but in the show, like the internet and the world are already together, but only Lane and a few other people realize it.
This is what that show does. Just so you know, this is what that show does for you guys, people home watching. Is that us have this? We watch the show. We all watch the same exact show. Yet we're coming together and we have all these. We have like 5 different thought processes going on about the same show. Which normally it's like, hey, this is the plot of the show, cool, and then we go along with that. Here, we're trying to put that together.
We're not sure what happened, and we watched it. So fans, if you haven't even seen the show but have any theories, just type them out. Just give them to us.
Steven,
Go.
what were you gonna say? I totally interrupted you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I just wanted to mention one other pretty important note is there seems to be 2 lanes, like the real lane and the wired lane.
Mhm.
That seemed to be a pretty big plot point at some point, so I just wanted to throw that into the mix as well.
There are more.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
sister, I think, is one of the lanes, and I think that the one that interacts with her friends is different from the internet lane.
But they're all one lane, right?
The one that you
Sure.
see it through, I think, is like on the fence and like can like gets an overhead view of everything that's happening with all with the 3 major lanes. I think is, of course, it's all coming from my head, but like, and she has no real impact on them, but she can see what they do. She sees what they do.
But they're all one being, split. I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's weird. Like the sister became like self-aware or whatever, and then got like totally replaced. Like became like
Yeah.
Casca from like Berserk, just totally
Oh.
inadequate.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. Oh. All right, I'm broken on the inside. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time on.
What accurate though?
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah. She just becomes broken. Which is a fair point about this story. When I was doing the review, and I was writing out the characters, I never mentioned any other characters that were like maybe a sentence, because in the end, do all the other characters really make a difference? They serve their purpose for the plot, and then they book out.
Alice?
Except for Alice.
Alice,
Except for Alice. Alice
Is that how you-
and Lane.
They called her Arisu in the version I saw, and I didn't make that connection. That
Those are my favorite subs that just go completely literal on everything.
You can
It's
see
like-
in her
it's-
phone it was Alice, so
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like 4 kids all over again. What's your name? Asuka? Alexis sounds good.
Except this is the opposite. This is the complete opposite. Oh man.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
they,
but-
So-
fucked up shit.
This is gonna be this entire podcast. Is everybody tries to say like a thing about Lane, and then we all stop because we're like, wait, what if they have something
makes
different to say about Lane?
Yeah.
Gone
Let's see.
cross-eyed.
So I originally, like, having watched half of the show, I was kind of stuck on this description of it as girl becomes internet.
Not untrue.
Not untrue, but also untrue. Girl was
internet.
already internet
Yeah.
or something.
I don't.
I think that's my biggest confusion was the whole part where they were like, you have always been in the wire. So
All right,
like,
my idea on this one. I want to jump in on here because I don't think it's, and this I could No, you know what? There's not even important qualifiers. Nobody knows what they're talking about. So for me, it wasn't that she was already like in the know and then deleted her memory. At least that was my interpretation of it. It was more of she was designed that way so that she always was on the internet but was not aware of it. And this is her for the first time becoming aware of, like, maybe I'm just taking this at face value, but this is her for the first time becoming aware of what she is, which maybe is God internet being.
Kind of like an AI gaining sentience is
Something like that. But
thinking
the
of it.
AI was meant to gain sentience and actually was, like, slow on the uptake.
Yeah, because it definitely seemed like the father at one point, towards the very end, is like, "You're free now. You can become whatever you want to become."
Yeah, they had a one-on-one. They just had
Yeah.
They just sat down and hung out for like
So-
the half of the episode. And I'm going like, why are you important? You want to
So-
race with the other family.
I mean,
thought
yeah.
he was the programmer.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It seems like he was some sort of creator or at least like facilitator. That
I was gonna say. Oh, I was
yeah,
going
go
to
ahead.
say that what was it? That it was Lane's spiral out of control for her own programming and whatnot, and that was the only father-like figure she could think of to have a conversation with, that had that kind of father parenthood, to kind of talk. That was the one that gave her the computer and whatnot. That was her. That was her own creation to be able to have a one-to-one with somebody, with anybody. That was her first time doing that, because Lane kind of doesn't do things like, she's a very soft-spoken girl. So the whole show, I don't think she ever like goes out of her way to do anything unless it's for her own curiosity. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so I don't want to talk to any of my friends. I don't want a computer. Everything's fine. Oh shit, a girl killed herself. She's talking to people? I don't have an email. I'm gonna get an email. That sounds pretty dope. And then they get it. Huh, cool. The Wire? Alright, I'm connected to Wire. That sounds dope. Hey, do you want to go to this club? No. Wait, there's another me over there? Let's go. That sounds dope. You know, it just, nothing really triggered her unless she was actually curious about it. She never had any, she was very basic in the beginning.
There had to be
So-
a mystery to catch her.
So,
yeah,
regarding that, if she was always the internet, and I think she was, or the application, what are the ghosts? If, in the end, what's her name
It
is
doesn't
real?
really matter.
Problem
This
is
is what
the
you brought
right
on
answer.
your podcast. I'm sorry. This is what you got. I
No,
apologize.
this is fantastic. You, sir, are a wonderful man. But, all right.
Ghosts.
No, I got nothing. I got nothing.
I got
Somebody
nothing for the
else.
ghosts.
They're there.
There?
They are.
I got nothing.
You know what? They're viruses. Somebody uploaded them. They forgot to be mentioned. It's fine.
I mean, there was the whole thing with memories and like being erased. So maybe they were people that existed but got erased from memory. I don't know. Like that's
There's
just a
also,
wild theory.
In all honesty, another guess I might actually have is that the gap between reality and internet has already become super gray, right?
Yeah.
It might not be super crazy, and maybe it is, I don't know, that there are also people on the internet side, that it's not so much like the internet as it is just another dimension, another world, and those are the people who originated from that one. I don't know.
Wasn't there a whole scene where Lane was just like hunting down people, or was it just yeah, she
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
totally made a bitch out of that one guy on the rooftop. It was insane. I love that. That's my favorite scene of the whole time. Actually, that's probably my favorite scene out of everything. It's just her hunting down that guy, and he's like freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
So the guy that had all the gear on, not the suited ones, but like the hobo guy that had it all.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, like he didn't have anything, but it was weird that they like focused on this guy and then just like would come back to him every once in a while, but he never impacted the plot. Like he had no significance in the end, but they kept coming back to him.
I
Mhm.
think the idea with that was maybe just to show that like people were in the Wired figuring stuff out and wanting to know more about the Knights and join the Knights. I think that was the idea. And then because Lane also stopped him, and then I'm pretty sure the next time you saw him, he was dead.
He was just sort
This-
of collapsed.
this show likes to throw stuff at you that kind of diverts you from, because you start to have an idea of, okay, I can see what's going on here, and then it shows, hey, so Roswell, there were aliens, and that's how we began our technology, and I'm kind of like, huh?
And then there's just an alien randomly, like...
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. All right, we're going to go back to the plot here. Okay, cool. So now we're on the plot here. Lane maybe has to happen to be some kind of internet. Oh, cool, there's a secret organization trying to gather up knights. That's, okay, we're going to do that for now? Is that what we're doing now? Okay, that's whatever. Men in Black?
Killed.
Whatever.
And then
Men in
the
Black
god
is
shows
just
up.
a thing, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, so, like, the whole process was, like, okay, Men in Black, aliens, the Knights, oh shit, I really fucked up Alice, and then God. That was, like, the process of the whole show. That was their little, what do you call them, arcs, in my eyes.
I can see that. But did anyone also catch where, like, there was one scene where Lane was, I think, talking to Alice, and she had the alien's hand?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes,
that
yes,
threw
I
me
remember.
off. That threw me off.
I think it was just that she replaced its head, because they talked about the little gray man wearing the striped sweater, and she was wearing the striped sweater, and
Yeah.
she had like the bluish legs, and so I think she literally just was on his head.
Okay. So no real significance to that then?
Oh, I'm sure there is somewhere.
That people have been seeing this alien creature, and she used it to. Yeah, she used
All
it.
right.
I guess for more significance.
You know, I desperately wish
Hey.
for these kinds of shows you could just walk up to the author and just... Why?
Just be like, can you please explain?
Like,
in
do you know
very
what you
clear
wrote? Or...
words? So I actually want to get into why I was saying I think it's trying too hard to be deep. Like, first of all, it was done in
Dog.
1998. I understand
Two
people
dogs.
didn't really understand the internet back then. Also, those are very cute dogs.
Thank
Yeah, I know people didn't get the internet back then necessarily, but
Well,
this whole thing where it's like, you know, everyone in the world will become connected, and when that happens, the Earth's own consciousness will awaken. And just what?
When there are 1 million babies born outside the top of the Earth's crust, then the spiral energy will be too much and it'll come down crashing. I don't know. That's all I got from it.
Y2K, here we come.
Yeah, seriously, it just feels like it's trying way too hard to be philosophical about, like, you know,
Things that it does nothing about.
yeah.
It-
And that took away from it for me. Like, I liked the story as it was, but it felt like it tried to get philosophical, and
It does
didn't
really
enjoy that.
good on its own terms. Like, on its own, like, in the world that it creates and its own rules, it does an amazing job with, creating its own little crazy story. But when it touched bases on, like, Roswell and other stuff like that, it was just, like, too much.
Giving us history lessons
So-
and then
Yeah.
giving
Because, like,
information that makes no sense.
the last episode's Lane, Lane, and then the next episode's straight. In 1945. I don't know when Roswell was. It like 68? I think it was
Sure,
68.
why not?
Okay, sure, why not? And then I'm like, okay, where's Lane?
That actually, Steven, so in the pre-show, fun fact, everybody who peeking behind the curtain, technically speaking, we have to have a pre-show to fix everything, and we like to get a lot of our complaints out there first.
Yeah.
I was saying, after Steven made that same complaint, I was saying that I didn't really blame the show for not quite understanding the internet, because hell, it was 98. But now I just remembered a story, and now I blame the show again. So... A few months ago, my best friend was visiting from New York, and we went to a comic book store where we started talking to a cashier there. She was actually pretty cool, but then we started talking about the internet, and I realized that some people just don't know what the internet is at all.
What did she say?
The
But this
cashier
is the
there.
guy who wrote Digimon. Like, he's gotta know.
I mean, eventually he learned, right? Tamagotchi's really paved the way forward. But so this girl at the comic book store, the cashier, she starts talking to us, and we're the only ones in the store, and we're having a good time, so we just keep talking to her. And eventually, when we start talking about the internet, she starts asking questions like, "How did we discover the internet? Was it always like nanoparticles floating in the sky that we just, it's a natural thing? If we destroyed all of the servers and then we made new internet from scratch, would our information just still be waiting there in the cloud?"
If we destroyed servers and we made internet from scratch, we would have new internet.
For anyone watching who doesn't know what the internet is just another computer.
If you don't know
is
what
made of
internet
cats.
is, if you're here, you don't know what internet is. Good job.
How did you get here? We're
We
proud
made
of
it
you.
here.
Especially
We made it
at
a
the
very
time.
specific point in time.
No,
It's a,
don't.
Oh, I was gonna say it's yeah, no, that's insane. Like, I don't understand how somebody can just look at the internet and go.
This is like a
"Huh."
half-hour conversation, is the thing.
I
And
would-
my best friend was like hitting her head against walls, like, "Let me out,
Just
please."
fuck with her. Just go, at that point, just go, hey, the internet, that's crazy because all those particles in the air. If you destroyed all the computers in the world and started making new internet, all the old particles would go scatter around. Where would they go?
You
They
remember
would go
I
back
wish I
to
was
its
there.
origin in the
That's what I
moon,
want to know.
No, wait.
where the aliens first gave us the internet. That's where
That's
it
what
came
I was
from.
going to say. This is where you go back and you explain to her, well, in 1948 or whatever, the
47,
Roswell
I just-
incident
Lane!
happened.
Just Lane!
The Roswell incident happened, and that threw the
Roswell, what did I
nanoparticles
say?
into the air.
Did I say Roswell? What did I say?
You did. You said
Yeah,
Roswell.
Okay,
Yeah.
I swear I said like Rosemont or something like that. Okay.
No, it's fine. I've been resisting
Sure,
saying
I said that
Rockefeller this whole time, so you know what?
Oh.
So
Man.
I looked online real fast because a lot of what we've been talking about just sounds like fan theories about the Matrix. Matrix came out after this by a year. Who'd have thunk?
Hmm.
Oh wow.
But like Matrix has like also a definitive like thing about it.
Do you think Matrix had like some kind of like inspiration from Lane?
Because what is it? At the end of the third movie or whatever, he starts affecting the real world with his Matrix
Okay.
powers.
Third movie. Come on, that's the problem. You stop at the first one.
Agent Smith is the real chosen one. Sorry. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is he starts affecting the real world with his like Matrixy powers, and you're wondering like, are they in another computer? And the answer was apparently no, because of reasons. And like, it almost feels like the same conversation we've been having about Lane, except they only watched like the first 3/4 of the show, said fuck it, and then moved on, and made 3 movies.
I can see that.
I love
The last
these
part of the
parts.
show I felt got a little too like typical. Like it started becoming about this little friendship thing. But then like it didn't at the very last episode, but like those
Oh my
last two
God, that-
like leading up to it, I was just like, oh, it's too much about this and it's just gonna become another
My friend.
I didn't see that coming. Shit just hit the fan, and it was like factory reset. You're fine, Alice. Just so you know, everything's fine.
Yeah, no, it wasn't even like you didn't get a lot leading up to it either. It was just the moment the option is presented, it's just taken. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
it's all right. So I think this is a dumb question, but was everybody unsatisfied with the ending?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was confused the whole way through, so I didn't really have a feeling towards the end.
That's fair,
They
too.
could have played a whole other episode, and I would have been fine with it. Like nothing would have phased me at all.
No, there definitely wasn't a conclusion by any means.
Yeah, no. I think this show exists just to make you ask questions. That's honestly, I think the whole point
Yeah.
of the show.
It should have ended on episode 12, really. Like the god coming and stroking her face and then done.
Dead.
Wait, that's
Actually-
it.
I killed
Dead.
God. JoJo's pose.
I actually want to take that back. I think the ending was fine because I guess I'd rather
This is fine.
because Alice definitely didn't know Lane. I think was the point of like the pretty much final scene, and I think that's because previously Lane hadn't wiped Alice's memories, but she wiped everyone else's memories
What did I do
of
for you?
Lane. Yeah. And so, like, I think the ending showing that eventually her memories did get wiped, I think that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It kind of shows where Lane is just like picking up all these broken pieces of this world and then going, huh, at least I can save out. Oh, no, I can't save out. Well, my family should be. Oh, no, that's going away too. All right, cool. I killed God. That's all I
Yeah.
got going for me.
I mean,
But I mean-
did it?
The ending basically separates her from. Doesn't separate her from reality because she can still like control
But the
reality.
one
to some
thing that
degree.
mattered in reality, she had to let go of. The one thing
Yeah.
she couldn't hold on to.
Yeah, she was now removed from it, and I mean, really, she became God.
If a tree falls in the woods, is it really going to happen? So if there's no memories of Lane, does she really exist?
Yeah, exactly. And I think
mean,
that was
so
the
long
point of
as
the ending.
she's able to affect the world, I think you can't ever write her off.
But she kind of like removed herself from the world.
Yeah, by the end, she existed in the wire alone. I think is what you're
Yeah.
supposed to get out of that.
I don't know what the wire alone is anymore.
The internet.
Oh,
She's
man.
just an observer, no longer an actor.
This feels like we're
Yeah,
talking
for
about
now.
Paranoia Agent again.
This is when we talked, except I'm less angry this time. Because Paranoia Agent was dumber.
Yeah, I had those last 2 episodes.
If it had ended 2 episodes earlier. By the way, everybody go back, watch a Paranoia Agent episode. I get really angry for a while.
I tried to defend it.
You were wrong.
I didn't.
Try the keyword.
Tried being the keyword. Alright, so, it has come to my attention that I have horribly ruined this podcast for, when spoiler section started, I didn't ask the most critical question of all.
Yeah, I was gonna remind you at some point.
I
What's the
figured you
critical
were. I
question?
wanted to get to
This
it
is
before
the
doing
first
here?
episode you've forgotten it.
I know, I'm a little heartbroken. I blame Lane. My brain was still hurting. By the way, everybody, I haven't slept in over a day and am running only on coffee and a burger. So, you know what? My bad. Who
That's fine.
was Best Girl? Best Girl can be anybody.
I liked
Well-
her sister.
Who exists, anyways?
Existential Crisis was
I
Best
liked her
Girl.
sister. She didn't exist. I liked her.
I think best girl was Navi, the supercomputer.
Lane. Lane.
Lane.
Yeah, that's an answer.
If anybody
Uh,
says the girl that was with the little kid at the club, I gotta have a talk with you after this podcast.
No.
You know, it came to your mind, so I'm just putting it out there.
I mean, that's fair. So, I would say Lane, but she's also, I don't know. It's weird to think. Now that I think about it, this is the one show I didn't think, who's best girl? That's weird. I normally do that with every anime. This is the one I didn't do that with. My mind was too fucked over Roswell.
I think that's
Yeah.
why we all missed it.
I didn't ask him. That's like my whole job. It's the only reason they have me on this show.
It's literally the only reason.
I mean,
I
I
just
would say
asked that
Lane.
question.
I'd probably say Lane.
I
Or Suicide Girl. I don't know.
I thought about Suicide Girl. I thought about Lane Dad, kind of potential existence. Man,
I just like internet Lane's expressions.
Yeah.
Lane in a bear suit exists, and therefore it has to be Lane.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Bearsuit Lane.
You make
Bear suit Lane.
Bearsuit Lane.
Bear suit
If
Lane.
she's out
Bear
of
suit
bear
Lane is
suit-
best girl.
And normal, go fuck yourself. Bearsuit only.
Or floating African tribal mask.
You make a good point.
Fair argument.
Floating god hand.
The
Only
ending
the
monster
hand,
has
though.
tentacles, though.
Oh.
True. That already
Nah,
gives
Lane,
more
Lane,
conversation
Bearsuit
than
Lane.
anything else.
Bearsuit Lane.
Bear suit Lane.
Maybe electrical suit Lane, but Bearsuit Lane. Where she's like, here, Dad walks in. It's like, hey, Lane, you know, okay? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm just fixing my computer. Why are you wearing that little, whatever the fuck that is? Oh, electricity. Don't worry about it, nerd.
Yeah.
She's like, I gave you the computer, and I upgraded it, bitch. Go fuck yourself.
Steven, do you want to talk about the one part where we noticed Vips?
I mean, I guess so. Like, there were times they'd show, like, lines of code running on this screen. And, I mean, it's actual coding that we've been
Yeah.
learning this semester, so...
For real?
Yeah.
That's so legit.
I was actually wondering if it would do anything if you were to like put it
Type
in
it
a
in.
compiler.
Oh, when
Alright.
she was typing
You
like the
ascend to
emails.
godhood if you actually.
Like when
It's-
it, like it
there-
looked like she was typing an email, but it was actually the code being written.
Yeah, it would be like...
Maybe that's
add-
like
well,
maybe that's
when you
maybe a
have,
key
like,
part.
the lines going really fast, it's like add, move, like SLT, all like the three 3 letters and then some other stuff that would be like a letter and then a number.
Sometimes
That's
4
all
letters.
like. It's just very basic programming.
Why don't you
like,
try
very
and
low
program that into a thing and it just pulls up like, hey, nice try. Worth a shot.
Do it.
Oh, there was that one website I wanted to check out what it was. Something.co.uk. It was one of the, it was like who had made like a clock in it or something like that. I wanted to check out the website, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
I think it was that, I guess.
Yeah.
And-
But to be fair, this is 1998 programming.
Exactly.
No.
Like I said, it's assembly language. It's like
Yeah.
the most direct programming that
It's-
humans really do.
It's
so
next to the 1s and 0s that people like associate with
yeah,
programming.
it's like one level up from actually editing 1s and 0s, actually flipping switches. So anyway,
Wait a second.
it's a thing
So-
that exists.
So we've been doing this for a while, and I know the show's gonna wrap up soon. But I'm on the Wikipedia page for Lane, and you know how we were talking about talking to the director and getting an interview?
yeah.
So during an interview, the director said that Lane was a sort of cultural war against American culture and the American sense of values that we, Japan, adopted after World War II. He later explained in numerous interviews that he created Lane with a set of values he took to be distinctly Japanese, hoping Americans would not understand it as Japanese would, leading to a war of ideas that will culminate in new communication between the two cultures. When he discovered that the American audience held the same views on the series as the Japanese, he was disappointed. I've got one of 2
Go
things.
fuck yourself.
Okay, I've gotten one of 3 things out of this. 1, that. 2, I mean, was he expecting us to just go what the fuck in the Japanese to get it? Because if so,
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Go fuck yourself. See
Yeah.
number 1.
and 3,
Japan's
what I've learned is they didn't get the shit any more than we did.
No. That's funny. It backfired on him.
Oh man.
His expectation was for like it to go. I released this Japanese. Oh, this is a funny inside joke. Americans.
Look, the thing is, having watched the whole show and now hearing this and reflecting on the show, I don't see how that has anything to do with American versus Japanese values.
Okay, so
I mean,
like,
I guess I wasn't really alive well enough to know any of this in
Thomas.
'98, but
I'm excited for what Thomas is saying. He's like,
yeah,
Put me
I
in,
Thomas.
mean, just like as
I got
far
this.
as like lessons are concerned, what I got from this is like that people do get sucked into this sort of dimension that isn't real, and it really doesn't matter. Lane can be seen as like a hikikimori, like as I learned from Welcome to the NHK. Like
Oh,
you
God,
just
good show.
get pulled into this world that doesn't matter, and you forget about everything outside. So as to the point where you don't know what's real because you don't care. You just want like that immediate satisfaction of upgrading your computer. And like they don't even talk about the finances because I mean technically it doesn't matter because she's not real. But like she builds this whole server room and they don't talk about like where she got anything. And like the kid comes in and sees all the piping. He's like, "What's in there?" And she just like talks over him instead. And I don't know. So it's just like you will just get continuously pulled in and consume what is the internet without really a second thought.
I never watched the show and went the kids like freaking out over all the tech. Ah man, I gotta have this really cool tech. Where is there? And I never watched it and went, are they making fun of us?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that he was making fun of us or just that he was trying to make something that only the Japanese will get. But either way, I think we learned that his mind works in ways that only he understands.
Also, a
Yeah.
point about the her computer. Every single scene where they showed it, her computer got bigger and more elaborate in every single scene that they showed it.
I
From
appreciated
start to finish each time. But there was no explanation. Suddenly wires are busting out of the wall, and then suddenly it manifests into a physical god or something. But anyway, it had to be a metaphor for something, but I don't know what.
It's probably like
Cue the show.
what I got.
My like genitalia, but okay.
What I got out of it was more just like how much she was sucked in at that point, just like the extent.
Maybe it was about American overconsumption.
Man, I love these giant
Maybe.
ass burgers.
And not my dick.
I'm glad every time I come home, my computer just grows another 15 feet.
I wish, man.
Another $1,000.
Yeah, seriously. For just
I'd be happy
by
looking at
magic.
the graphics card in mine. That'd be fine by me. I come home with the graphics card, done.
Oh man.
With the
That
graphics
last thing
card,
she had to be more than a house, though. Like,
I don't even think mine's Blu-ray. Hold on. Yeah, it's just DVD. Go fuck yourself, Lane.
I can guarantee Lane wasn't on Blu-ray either.
Yeah, before Blu-ray was even a thing.
I actually have part of like the first 4 episodes of Lane on DVD for some reason. That's a
I
thing
used to
that
have I used to have the when the Funimation got the license for it. They actually released that Blu-ray with the art book in it. Oh my god, it looks so good. It's a really great art book to have. I would love owning that again. It was like $50 for me. I don't know how much it is now.
More. Always more.
So, should we move on to final thoughts and recommendations?
I guess. All right, so usually I like to talk about the fact that after you finish this conversation, my favorite part about this podcast is that, you know, sometimes minds are swayed, sometimes we come out understanding more than we came in, or sometimes we have different... No. I don't know what I watched. I still don't know what... I thoroughly enjoyed this, mind you. This is a great conversation to have, and now I can just randomly walk up to people and be like, so, have you watched Lane? Because we could probably shoot the shit about that for like 5 hours. But...
Oh man, you walk up to anybody that knows Lane, 5 hours done in a heartbeat.
Friends 101.
is it 4 a.m.? Oh,
But we've only covered the first episode and half of its meanings.
We just hit the Roswell.
We just got to Roswell. Even still, I recommend this show for the same reason that when we get to it, spoiler warning, I'm going to recommend Evangelion. I don't know that this show is good. I'm going to be completely frank with you. I don't know that this is a good thing. I don't know if this is quality. I don't know if it's good writing. I'm not 100% sure I know what I watched. However, it did leave a huge mark on the industry. It left its influence on a lot of things. And quite frankly, I still kind of got a lot more out of this than frickin' Shonen Bat. So you know what? It's better than Paranoia Agent, I'll give you that. So I'll recommend it. Why not? Go in there, watch something, you will be no better for it, but at least you can have conversations with other people. Who wants next?
I think I usually go next. Yeah.
Alright.
Going along with, I have no idea what I watched. Throughout this entire podcast, you may have noticed I haven't talked much. And that's because I've just been listening to everybody and, like, digesting.
Enjoy your constipation. You earned that.
I finished the show very, very close to, like, the start of our show. And so, like, I didn't have too much time to actually think about it. So I thank everybody for thinking for me.
I think.
You're welcome.
Therefore, I am.
Oh no, that
they
sounds
said that
like
in the show, didn't they?
I don't
No,
know. I was
no,
quoting
no, sorry.
Zenyatta, but I'm sure that would have. I'm sure that sounds like a very lame thing to do.
Yeah, they
No,
would have.
I've been reading this comic Descender. They say it in that.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Way more popular phrase than I thought it was.
Well,
Just as, or I guess I'll just wrap up. Just as Jovan said, if, like, I guess I do recommend it because it's a good conversation piece, and whether or not you enjoy it, there's always something to talk about. So yeah.
let me put it this way. I'm probably going out of order, but who cares? I would not recommend it if it was longer. If it was like a 24 episoder, no way.
No.
But yeah, this is short and will blow your mind and leave you very confused. But yeah, I'd give it a recommendation.
Okay.
That's about all I have to say here.
I would. This show runs off the rails in terms of understanding many points, and when you think you have a grasp, it throws you something else to get distracted by. So, if it comes to like, if you're very intimidated about like going into a show that's psychological and go, well, I don't think I'll understand it because I'm dumb. Don't worry, I felt the same way, and don't worry because none of us understand it. So it's an experience that we all. It's a very easy experience to encounter. You can watch it, and you can either learn something from it and go, hey, Lane, that was pretty cool, right, about that one part, and then what do you think Lane is? Or you can go, hey, Lane, the fuck, right? Like, you know.
Wait, both of those conversations are the exact same conversation.
Exactly. So you can always... it's a very hard show to... Unless you are very confused and you are very... And you just hate how it's all over the place. It's a very hard show to hate. Because you're left one... Okay, for me, and I'll wrap up with this, it was a very hard show to hate and love because I was more worried about what the hell is going on. So, there's things.
I would recommend it, but it wouldn't be super high on the list. If someone was like, hey, Thomas, show me an anime that really influenced like every anime to follow, Evangelion. If you were like, hey, I want a weird anime that doesn't make sense, Tatami Galaxy. Like, you would have to like really narrow it down to you would have to be like,
I want Cyberpunk. What do you got for me?
Cyberpunk. Come on, the super popular one with the fucking robots.
Cyborgs?
Oh, okay. Well,
Gundam?
Psychopaths. I would probably
Psychopaths
say.
will do it.
Ooh, that's a good one
first.
too. Yeah. So there's
Thomas.
always another one.
What if I need?
Kogias is the one I was trying to think of.
What
Oh,
if I
yeah.
need a
Psychological,
psychological thriller made in 1998 with subpar animation that makes no sense no matter how many times you watch it? What would you recommend me?
Horror, I'm
Almost
sure
just
there's a better
show me.
one. I'm sure.
Just give me JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and move on.
Is that a JoJo's reference?
What? No.
Yeah, but I mean, I would. If you gave me the name and were like, Thomas, would you watch Serial Experiments Lain? I'd be like, yes, but there are better things. But yes, you can watch it. It's all right. It's pretty good.
You guys are cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is
So.
fun. I'm happy we live in the same state now. I'm glad we learned this now.
Yeah, that's fantastic, and we're like in the same-ish area too.
Yeah,
At least
like
how we
less than a little over an hour away.
Yeah, no, this has been fantastic. I want to say thank you to Dakota for being a guest on the show. Like, you have been rad, man, and this has been a great conversation.
Still fun.
Before we head out, a few things coming up on the show. In 2 weeks' time, bloody hell, we actually have booked this right into exams. Because we hate ourselves.
Good luck.
Wonderful.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, I didn't sleep last night, not sleeping tonight. I love this. This is great. BTOOOM, Steven, you're the one having us watch that.
Ooh.
What?
All right. BTOOOM, I think, is underrated. I watched it as it aired. It didn't get much attention. A mobile game just came out that's decent. But anyway, it's kind of battle royale-ish. They're sent to an island to fight each other, and they use bombs, hence BTOOOM. And yeah, that's about it. It's pretty dark. It's probably one of the darkest shows I've watched, actually, and I like it a lot. I think it's underrated, and more people should watch it, and that's why I've put it on the podcast.
How long is
Have you seen the age difference between the two main characters? It threw me away.
I have not.
It was hilarious. I was like, oh, cool, they're cute together. And then I'm like, huh, she's like 16, he's like 30. Okay,
I didn't know that.
whatever.
All right.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. The show's great.
Yourself 5 times and go home.
Watch the show. Watch BTOOOM and can come back next week for them. That's great.
Oh, it's gonna be fantastic. I desperately hope. Every time I see BTOOOM, I keep thinking Brynhilder, and I'm like, wait, why are we all right.
Did we watch
That's on
that
the
yet?
schedule, too.
Not yet. It is
No.
on the schedule, though. I just have this thing pulled up beside me, and like we have some good stuff coming up, and also
And Brynhilder.
Wait, actually, no. Everything else on this list is really good, and Brynhilder.
But next is BTOOOM.
But next
Which
is BTOOOM.
I love.
And Dakota, other than your review of Serial Experiments Lain, inspired
That will be
here,
coming out probably next week.
do you have anything else up on the docket?
I have an abridged series. My first ever abridged series coming out. I'm having a few friends from other abridged series help me out do it. So hopefully it'll be a good project. And it's for My Hero Academia. And then on top of that, I have obviously the spring of anime 2017 going over that and whatnot. So if you like cringe, then bring it in. Got you.
Everybody get a hand.
This is fun. I love to come back anytime you guys want me to.
That is fantastic to hear because I was totally going to ask you that right after we got off there.
Okay, good.
Great. So, if you guys want some more of Dakota shooting the shit with us, you're going to get that too, sometime in the future. Other things, I think our gaming channel is still doing the thing. Allan, Steven, how's uploads been going?
My computer crapped out on video editing and so I open Premiere Pro and it's working fine. I hit open on a file, my entire computer freezes.
All right, well, eventually we're going to get some more episodes out to you guys when we fix that.
I think Allan's still been uploading. He's supposed to be.
All right, the gaming channel is, but hey,
Temporarily kill.
Best. It's temporary kill. Please forgive us. We are college students, and this is the worst time.
Also,
ever.
if you see me doing this with my face, just so you know, I pulled a wisdom tooth out 2 or 3 days ago. That's what I've been dealing with. So, and I ate a bunch of salty potato chips. That's why I'm doing this in the middle of recording.
You just got out of wisdom tooth, and you were like, "All right, podcast sounds good."
Yeah, it was. Oh God, terrible.
Hey, well, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. All right, I guess with all that in mind and vague promises for the future, we'll see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.